This Saturday? Friday. How are you? Western is closed over the weekend.
North about to go over there.
You know, maybe there still is right on that brook, and there's like a hollow behind it, and it's table. You walk down the back and you go down a level, there's like a table with all glass hanging up right over this like a pool. Maybe.
Yeah, but they doubled it.
It did, but I'm saying, what if they got washed away?
And a lot of water.
Oh, I know. 4 years for sure.
Officially working.
Yeah.
Good morning, and we appreciate you coming out here this morning for what really is a very difficult day, I think, for all of us here in the city of Danbury and across the United States of America. So the fact that you took time out of your Sunday morning to remember with the rest of us is greatly appreciated. I'm Mayor Mark Boughton, and I'll be serving as the MC for this morning's event. Later on this afternoon at the Ice Concha Park at 2 p.m., we have a formal 9/11 Remembrance ceremony as well, and you're encouraged to attend and certainly invited to attend that. Before we begin any other remarks, I think it would be right and appropriate if we engage in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask our two chiefs, Chief Harold and Chief Baker, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Chiefs?
To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chiefs. We appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, I usually I'm not at a loss for words, but I have to tell you, I've been obsessing over the last several weeks about what to say on this morning and later today. It's really difficult, I think, for all of us who remember that horrible day, September 11th, 2001, for a variety of different reasons. And I don't know if it's because we're so close to New York City, if it's because that we're so close to Washington, if it's because that maybe we know somebody who tragically lost their lives that day. I don't know if it's just the fact that we're on the eastern side of the country, but this day has always brings great emotions about myself, and I'm sure in you as well. It really is a profound moment in our history, and it really was a profound moment in our history. And so for us to have speeches and to say words doesn't really do justice to what happened that day and what's happened since that day. The people whose names are listed on this monument were Connecticut residents. They didn't wake up in the morning and thought that 10 years later there'd be a day or a date that we'd remember them. They went to work. They were a firefighter, a police officer, somebody on the plane, somebody at Cantor Fitzgerald and the World Trade Center. If they went anywhere, they went to work thinking that it was a regular day in their lives. And in a flash of lightning, a flash of light, a flash of explosion, all that changed for them. And obviously for their families, and obviously for our country. So how do you do justice to that? What do you say? What do you put in writing that really kind of summarizes or encapsulates that? I don't know if you can. And I've always felt, and I'm sure you felt too, that there's just always been a little bit of unfinished business related to this entire episode in our history. There's not a real answer at the end, and I think for some reasons that's why it's so emotional for all of us. There's no end. There's no moment when we say, we've won. It's an ongoing battle that lasts forever. And I don't know if that's such a bad thing, because I think what that does is it makes us rise to the challenge. We have great challenges in this country. It doesn't matter what your political persuasion is. The reality is that we have to address them. And so we ought to use this day and these emotions as a way to focus on addressing the problems of our great land, regardless of where you stand on the political spectrum. It doesn't matter. Maybe that's the legacy that they've given to us. Maybe that's the gift, if you will, that they've given to us. A rededication who we are as Americans. And I do know one thing, that the emotions of this day also remind me, as they remind you, as I was getting up this morning, about the fantastic work our police officers, our firefighters, our EMTs, our first responders, and our military personnel who are stretched around the globe. I think it would be right and fitting to give them a round of applause this morning. Finally, just a couple of quick remarks about the monument that you see here. This monument was dedicated in 2004. It was really the brainchild, if you will, of a couple of people. One of them was Father Al Audette, who used to be the priest at St. Peter's Church. Mike McLaughlin in my office, the wonderful artist who built this, Henry Richardson. And a lot of people ask me, it's not they don't get it, it's just they want to know about it. And it's a beautiful monument to the lives that were led and lost that day. It's made of shards of glass. Millions of shards of glass that were fused together in a process to create what you see here. Each of those shards of glass represents the lives touched on September 11th and the lives touched since September 11th. On the inside of the replica of one of the towers are the names of the victims of 9/11. The individuals that are highlighted in bold are the individuals from the greater Danbury area. The rest of the individuals are individuals whose lives were lost from the state of Connecticut. So I believe today that it's fitting and it's proper that we come here this morning to lay a wreath, that we remember, that we share in the joys of life, and that we rededicate ourselves to what makes this land the greatest place in the world. Thank you for coming out this evening, this morning. Okay. At this time, I'm going to ask Chief Baker and Chief Harold to place a wreath to the right of our monument. At this time, I'd ask that we engage in a brief moment of silence in honor of the victims of September 11th. Thank you. In closing, again, I want to thank you for being down here this morning. I also want to thank our public officials that have joined us, and I'm going to read their names off and we can give them a collective recognition at the end. No particular order. We have with us our Council Majority Leader Greg Seabury, Councilman Shay Negersheth, Councilman Phil Curran, Councilman Ben Shinisi, Councilman Tom Sadi, Council President Joe Cavo, Councilman Peter Nero, Councilman Paul Rotello, Councilwoman Mary Teisholtz, We have our City Treasurer, Dan Jowdy, State Representative Dan Carter, State Senator Mike McLaughlin, State Representative Joe Tabersack, State Representative Jan Gigler, our Town Clerk, Lori Kabak, and City Councilman Phil Cola, City Councilman Dwayne Perkins. I think I've got everybody. If I didn't, I apologize. With that, that concludes our informal, formal ceremony, if you will, here this morning on the 10th anniversary of the attacks on 9/11. At this time, we're going to ask any family members who wish to visit the memorial first to come forward, and then if the public wishes to view after, you're more than welcome to do that. Later on today at 2 p.m. at the Ives Concert Park, we'll be having a remembrance ceremony sponsored by the City of Danbury, Western Connecticut State University, Council of Veterans, and a whole host of individuals. So thank you for coming here this morning.
My niece was working right next to it. I'm so grateful. Anyway.
As soon as I went out under anesthesia, well, the doctor said that I'm on a treatment. Bob. How you doing?